Greetings everyone, Sylvain 1990 back out again with another part of the reaction to Can You Power Scale Tokusatsu? I think I said it right, or did I butcher it again? Someone let me know down in the comments. I don't know if I'm butchering it or not. I give up trying to figure it out at this point. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the end of the discussion about how the power scale between Lamo Christian and Special Form 12. So let's get through it. Now, I can't believe Special Form 12 hasn't heard of Zenkai Boost and Dragon Ball. Still a bit salty about that, but what can I say? I'm a Dragon Ball fan.
Heisei has a full range of like, okay, what's the best combination of abilities that
Yeah,
we can
Neo
do
Heisei,
to
that was
gain the
it.
advantage, or what's a unique way which we can express all of the range of abilities that we've gotten so far in the show that have been expressed by other writers, mainly. In Heisei shows, generally, when they get their super forms, namely Agito, namely Kuga, things like that, I want to say that the source of their power doesn't come so much, in part, it does come from the items that they do use, but it also sometimes references a higher power. So, for example, in Agito, you could say, oh, every form he claims, he becomes closer and closer to a god. And what can you compare the power of a god to? You'd be comparing a god to someone who can combine switches. Um, that's not saying, I'm not going to say a lot, that's not saying a lot in this thing, but that's not saying that Agito would use his godly power to obliterate Forze. But I'm just saying that in terms of physical ability alone, Agito is quite powerful, but he also has the abilities of a higher deity that they tend to reach up. In Kiva, you get Emperor form, and Emperor form gets a lot of access to these hidden Fangire abilities because he accepts his Fangire self. And so, in terms of that, what's a Fangire compared to an Overlord, which is what Kota is now? They're both gods in their own respects, but it comes down to like, okay, will a Fangire just like shatter like glass when he's defeated, or will Kota just like retreat into the forest? It's what I like to do in these power scaling sorts of things is give the forms a basis so we can have them to compare it to. And Sentai, it's with their mechas generally, and with Rider, it's generally something that they reference in the show, be it a higher power or be it a creature that by using their final form, they're slowly turning into.
I think that's oh man, it's so difficult because like I said, that opens another can. I feel like every time we open and we try to close a case, there's another one that immediately opens that
There you
immediately
go.
says if you're comparing it to this, well we have to go back and say how much is this. So there's so
That's
much.
where they get you.
Yeah, that's where they
As you
get you. You
do.
have to like backtrack so much for it. It's like okay, to recognize who would be stronger than who, we have to compare their kaijin. If we have to compare their kaijin, who can tank what and what and what. Um, I would say like maybe the Orphanics are stronger in terms of strength than maybe excuse me, I don't know, maybe the Dopants because there's a human limitation with the Dopants compared
Right.
to the Orphanics who are like just a new form of creature by themselves with enhanced abilities. So
Right.
we've seen top tier ones like the Dragon Orphanic, and we've seen top tier Dopants like Terror or
Yep.
Old or Nazca or Nazca Aura Weather. So the question is that who could tank the most damage between the two?
Right.
Who is stronger in terms of this and that? And I would say the Orphanics are because they don't have that limitation, that human bound limitation to them. Because
Mm.
we don't know what a memory break is per se. That stops them from detransforming. Maybe we could just count for the sake of like the argument, any final attack that they do could be considered a memory break that beats this, or something along those lines. But I
Yeah,
would say you
fair.
would look at the Kaijin of whatever series it is, and you play the backtrack game to figure out where they are, and then you'll go from there. And that's one way you could do it for Kamen Rider. For Super Sentai, it's normally if it's a Red Ranger, it's whoever's strong, like whoever his rival is, you would compare their strengths from there, because they usually follow the same like pattern. Rival comes and appears, they duke it out, they get dog walked. Red Ranger gets dog walked, he goes recover. They fight again in round two. He swaps hands with him, and he gets the advantage. And then they fight a third time, and somehow he gets a power up. The rival gets a power up, or he has some new move he was holding back. Red Ranger gets knocked down. They come back. They swap hands again. It's like this weird rinse and repeat cycle with
Mm.
different fights along the sides between then, and you can watch the growth between the two, because attack that the Red Ranger probably couldn't handle in one series, oh not one series, in one episode, he tanks in further episodes on, indicating how strong he is now.
Mm.
Which I think you see
Yeah,
that a lot between definitely guys like Shinken Red and
come on. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say because there is definitely a growth because, like they mentioned before, like there is a growth of like their suits, their skills, their power ups, those kinds of guys. Like they do change and improve. The tricky part being is how much they can scale that up as they continue on. Like some, Like sometimes you can tell that, oh yeah, they've only grown a little bit because they managed to stand up with a bunch of struggle after against a move that would have taken them out before. Versus, oh yeah, they tanked that attack, but now they're moving right on through it. So yeah, it really depends. The scaling is, even though the growth is inconsistent, but the fact is that it is growing. The growth is there. There's no arguing that point.
Jizo, I think his name is Jizo.
Juzo.
Juzo. Why do I call him Jizo? Oh man, my brain's somewhere else right now. Well, Shiken Red and Juzo. You saw that a little bit with Bosco and Marvelous, and you kind of see that a lot more frequently with Zed and did I call him Zed? Right, not right. Jesus, I am out of it today. I apologize, guys. With Toku Ichigo, and I think he's Zed, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Zed. You can kind of see that a lot more with those guys when they duke it out, because you can kind of see where they are in terms of strength, respectively. So, it's this is a can of worms that I'm looking forward to opening, specifically with different writers and Sentai teams and watching and doing first feats and stuff. But this is gonna be complicated. I'm so sorry I had to drag you along for this.
No, it's perfectly good. Because the thing is, it's actually helped me a lot, because I hadn't thought about this in the way, but as you were talking, I was starting to think of, okay, what, in terms of power, what can we compare it to? Because individually you can say, yes, this guy has the stats to beat this guy, but when you give the form some sort of a larger basis, it gives you more of a stronghold to understand exactly what power each of them are. So even though we may never be able to understand which riders are stronger than which riders, consulting even their stats and including their range of abilities, at least we can come close enough to let you know how to do it. So sometime in the future, you guys can do it for yourselves, because we're done here. No, I'm kidding.
I think, if anything, I think the easiest thing to do, or the best thing to do, is to start figuring out where people stand. And if we can figure out where people stand, like in terms of like abilities and limitations and this and that, then that argument will be easier to do, or that you guys can have those discussions, so those arguments will be better to have there. So I guess this is where we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We'll wrap this. This is actually like a longer one than anything I've done. We're gonna wrap it up here. What we'll do is that we'll try to do this more often than not. I can't promise you this will be done weekly, but whenever we do one, we'll definitely sit down and we'll talk about a specific writer or a specific set team, or even just a solo Sentai member, and kind of break down how powerful they are in relation to most of the things that we see. We'll try to use math and science. I got a physics guy I talk to about a lot of stuff, and we can even talk about some of the things that we see that need a good explanation on. Like, I'm gonna have to explain to some people about clock up really soon, so good, look forward for something along those lines, and maybe with the limitations of clock up and what you can and can't do with it, because abilities are something that plays a key role in it as well.
Yeah.
Before we get
I definitely will be consulting a religious expert for more info on these godly abilities, because I'm suspicious.
Okay, we might have to do that. Now, see me, if you guys can't see me.
Check with religion. They're a reliable source. About 70% of the time.
But I'm rubbing my chin in intrigue. Before we get out of here, Special Form, is there any place you want to plug in before we get out of here?
Not really. A lot of you guys probably know me, and if you don't, you should know that I do upload previews and trailers, and I subtitle them the moment they are released. I also include descriptions in the preview and links to where you can find every certain episode or every single thing you could ever find. I'm also starting my own series after a very long time about the villain factions of Tokusatsu called Into Darkness. You could check out the one I did on Infersia from Maji Ranger. Next one is going to be the Akugata Rinjuken from Geki Ranger, so I hope you look forward to that.
And everybody subscribe to his channel. And if you subscribe, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you aren't, I lost my train of thought there. Jesus, I'm losing it. If you are subscribed to his channel, don't hesitate to just let him know, hey, you heard this, you guys loved it. If this is something you guys want us to keep doing, just don't hesitate. Why did I say hesitate? I'm losing it, Special. I'm losing it. Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments section.
Just hesitate. Don't say anything. Just hesitate forever. Wait a minute.
Below, and also let us know who would you like us to see scale first. Like, we'll do our best to
and
hit
also,
as many as we want
if
to.
you are here from my channel, please subscribe to Lambo Calrissian, because there's probably a lot of you out there. He does amazing videos. He goes in depth about a lot of Kamen Riders, specifically Double, but I'm sure he's going to move on to do other things. I can't wait to see his content. He does amazing things. He does what I sometimes wish I could do, and I'm jealous of what other people get to do and I don't have the time to do. So if you guys are really interested in stuff like that, please subscribe to him. He's an amazing person.
I just tell people all the time, hi, my name's Lambo Calrissian, and I make videos about stuff you're too lazy to read. I love you guys, but that's literally what I do. But definitely, thank you so much for that.
That's pretty much the channel in a nutshell when you think about it.
What we're gonna do is go ahead and slide out of here. If you guys don't have anything else, well, you probably will in the comment section, so do that. I'm losing my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and just stop talking. I'm learning.
Oh boy, yeah. So yeah, you guys subscribe to these two too, Specialform12 and Lambo Crazy. I'm definitely going to be watching more Lambo Crazy videos coming up, but since we're ending this current month, it will be time for me to go back to some Ultraman, more Super Sentai gear, and checking out some Jane animation videos. There's been a lot that I've posted since I started reacting mostly Lambo Crazy this month. So we're going to get into that and see how things go with that one. In the meantime, though, hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. It was fun to actually listen on the discussion. And yeah, there's a lot of controversy you gotta dig through when you think about that. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.